How you doing, everybody? Matthew Sims back here with my Faja, Phil Sims, Big Phil, the Big Effer.
What's that from, Faja?
I don't know. I got to think about that one, but it's like Faja.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, is it Austin Powers?
Austin Powers.
Yeah, very good, very classic.
I got to educate you.
Mr. Myers, huge fan of you. Huge fan of you. Please come on the show. Join us one day. We won't talk football. We'll talk tap dancing and acting and comedian stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, it'd be great. Did you know that he was a great tap dancer back in the day?
I did not.
Yeah, so he was a trained tap dancer. So
not surprising. All these actors can do everything.
Dude is talented. Yeah, Austin Powers, great movie, and love him. He's a huge fan of him, and especially to the days of just everything that he does. But I digress. I apologize.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's okay. That's how my brain works, man. It's just all over the place. I mean, here, there. Okay, back to football.
Go ahead.
You're like, how did I sign up for this? We're going to talk through some more QBs today.
Yeah.
We got Clayton Tune, Jaren Hall, and Jake Haener.
Right.
All three quarterbacks that, I guess like on the totem pole of where they rank among the quarterbacks is, they're on the bottom part of it. But nonetheless, these are three talented football players that have a lot of experience.
Right.
They've made a lot of plays in college. They have tremendous upside. And I guess projections would say that they are career backups if they were given a grade by some of the other things that you see out there, right? They're guys that are good, solid football players, could eventually work maybe into being a starting quarterback if given the opportunity.
I think they all have some talent that gives them a chance to, when they get in the NFL, to maybe find a way to stick. I think of the three that you just talked about, the one that intrigues me the most, without question, is Clayton Tune of the Houston Cougars.
Okay, so out of the three, Clayton Tune is
to me, he's
your guy.
Clearly over these other two. Jake Haener, man, he knows how to play. He's got tremendous toughness, has some talent, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that would be second, and then Jaren Hall would be third for me at BYU.
Right.
So.
And the great thing really for all these guys in the evaluation process, a lot of reps for all of them. I mean, let's start with Clayton Tune. He's got 1,300 pass attempts in college football. I mean, that is ridiculous. He's got 44 games played. He's a fifth-year senior. He's from Carrollton, Texas. He went to Hebron High School.
Right.
And the past year, in the year 2022, 4,000 yards passing, 40 TDs, 10 interceptions, 67% completion percentage. And his rushing is solid, too. 128 carries for 46 yards, 5 TDs with a long TD of 55 yards.
Well, what you're going to see with him, big, 6'2.5", 220 pounds, looks bigger than that.
Yeah.
When you watch him, 4'6", 40, all legit, good.
Which is crazy that 4'6", 40 is like kind of slow now at the quarterback position, but just,
His hand is over 10 inches, whatever that, like I say, sometimes that is
an
issue.
You got 10?
I got 10.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I looked at it wrong, 9 3/8.
Yeah, 9 3/8.
Yeah.
Just making sure we're on the same page there.
We talked about this in one of the episodes earlier.
Yeah.
The way he grips the football, hand size is not a problem. He does grip it small.
Right.
So that helps him. And I didn't get to follow him during the season. Houston's just not that team that we see on national TV a lot. So when I did start watching, I went, wow, this guy's intriguing. He caught my attention. Maybe not quite the same as Dorian Thompson-Robinson did, but close.
Yeah.
Big, physical. Maybe the quality of some of his opponents wasn't great. I don't care. But him, I thought he dominated the game a lot of times. Physically, mentally, good decision maker. I mean, there's a lot to like about this guy, and we'll talk about all of them.
Yeah, and what Big Phil meant about the way that he grips the football, he grips the higher side of the football. So he's gripping a little bit higher up on the laces. He's getting the smaller part of the football in the middle of his grip, right? So despite maybe not having huge hands like some of these other guys, right, just, able to manipulate the football in a comfortable manner.
No doubt.
And you can't knock his reps and his experience. And I think everyone's looking for that next Brock Purdy type of quarterback, and he is someone that has a very similar background like Brock Purdy, a lot of experience where he's really just been the focal point of his team and his offense for a lot of it.
Right. Well, let's watch a little bit of him before we talk about the other guys real quick.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. All right, so let's watch a little Clayton Tune, Houston.
Well, we'll start it off with a tough play right at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, first play, let's just throw it downtown there, Tommy boy, okay? First play, though, Clayton Tune play action pass. He's drifting a little bit to his left here. Good job sliding in the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field. Really good job rotating through it. Just drops a beautiful pass over the shoulder, perfectly in stride right there.
Yeah, he did this a lot. He could move around, but in the pocket, a lot of good deep throws, like we talk about a lot. Puts elevation, gets him up there high, spins the ball really well.
Yep.
I thought he was accurate. I don't know his completion percentage off the hand.
67% this
67.
past year.
I was saying I don't really care, but I like the way he throws the football, and not a lot of highlights of him, but enough to see some of the talent we talked about.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about him, though. Shout out to Ben Godwin for setting us up at Catapult, right, with this film for all these quarterbacks. And also shout out to Leslie Ann Wade, too, who is a representative of the American Conference, and Houston is in the American Conference.
And here, just a little idea, moving, man, good job. Look at the spin on the ball. As you talk, running to the right, go ahead, man, I'll let you do it. But he does get his shoulders open. Now he can step with his right foot, turn the left shoulder, and gets through the football. And
well, what I really love about this, too, is the fact that dude's in a full sprint. It's not like he thinks he's about to take off and run here. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, man, he's open.
Right.
Turns, full stride, right? When we teach QBs how to throw on the run, we would say make sure you chop your feet right before you turn to throw, right? So you get your center of gravity underneath you a little bit more. He does this in a full stride.
Which is hard.
It's just really hard, and he still gets behind the football extremely well, throws a great ball on the run for a touchdown there. But here's a good example, too, just like you can see a little bit of his size, right? He's a big, dense quarterback, too. He's strong, but this is a really good throw right here. Sit on the back foot.
Well, yeah, and that's a nice little throw, but running back, this is what I would call for, and I like to say these words or phrases this way. He uses his body to throw.
Yeah.
Right here. It's a body throw. This is not, oh, I got a good arm, I'm doing that. So he goes with the throw. Look how he gets his right foot off. He's on his left leg really well. Look where his right shoulder is once he gets done. It's to the target.
Yeah.
So it just shows you he used his body to do it. And you know what? If you want to really throw those soft passes that just float down into tight spots, you got to use your body most of the time to get that done.
Yeah, you got to use your body, and you got to follow through patiently through the throw. And an example would be, we see Aaron Rodgers and how he stays on his back foot and kind of throws the ball up like this. That football doesn't turn over. It kind of stays like with the nose tilted slightly up and drops down, right? Which is crazy how accurate he is with that type of throw.
Right.
Where to get the football to turn over, it got to follow through a little bit more deliberately over and around. As I tell my QBs, it's like following through a three-point shot. You can't shoot a three-pointer like quick and snappy like this. Got to follow through all the way. Same thing here when you're trying to put touch on it to turn the football over.
All right, let's see what we got here. Another soft, long throw down the field. Drops it right in, gives it great elevation. And again, uses his body, drops it right in there.
Yeah, really good throw. Throws it high like you mentioned in a previous one. Quarterbacks that throw the football high down the field, right? It's more advantageous for these receivers to get their bodies in the proper position to catch.
And I think too.
Really good throw right here.
Yeah, really good throw. You see the rotation of the football, great control. God, he does look a lot damn bigger than 6'2.5" when you watch him on tape. But nice throw. Not in betweener here. Had to put a little steam on it to get it there before his tight end ran out of the back of the end zone. So
yeah, really good looking throw though.
These are not like I saw tons of these throws. It's not like we picked out his 10 best throws of his career. There's 10 of these every game.
No, there's a lot to like about this guy and what he can do, and you can see there's a lot of NFL type of throws very consistently on his film, and just the way that he moves, I think, is very underrated. But natural passer. Right, very natural passer, really good rhythm, and just really well-rounded of a football player. This is a great throw that I love too, because here's an example of similar to Hendon Hooker, right? The pocket's collapsing around him, but he does a great job of staying tall in the pocket and throwing the football nice and high with a good arc trajectory throw. And he's able to create enough power to get the football up and down before anyone can make a play on it.
I did get nervous, and I think I told you about Clayton Tune. We were just talking.
Yeah.
So I made a few phone calls. And to people, I said, oh, man, because I want to hear their information. And they go, never heard of him. And so he wasn't even on the radar, really, I guess. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But when I watched him, I said, this kid's absolutely going to get drafted. That's
this
the way I look at
kid, he's got something to him for sure. Maybe, there's something off the field that some people don't like about. I don't know about that, but I think he's got a lot of plus abilities.
Run it. Here's a good. Oh my gosh, you can tell the size. Look at him from behind.
Yeah, dude's built. Dude's built.
And,
I mean, it says 220. I'm sure he probably slimmed up for the combine just because he's got to run like a fast 40 and all that. So realistically, I feel like he's probably in like that 225, 230 range. And he's still a young man, too.
And he can run and not afraid. I'm not sure I agree with jumping up in the air like that, but he did it. And, again, he plays free, aggressive.
Here's the athleticism in the open field, the strength, too, running off arm tackles.
Wow.
And this is something that, it's prevalent in today's game more so than ever. It's going to continue to get more and more so that way for quarterbacks to be able to run physically, run for speed, run for extra yards when plays are broken down. And you just see him running through arm tackles here very easily and accelerating through the defensive secondary.
Well, let me say this. I was talking about before we started this today.
Yeah.
Stevie Cohen says, I want to see this Clayton Tune you're talking about. What do you think? A little better than you thought?
A little better.
Yeah, I know it's highlights, but this is every game. But go ahead, Matt. I just wanted to.
No, that's all.
It.
That's actually all we have of them. Yeah. But unfortunately for us, we couldn't accumulate a ton of film for some of the QBs. But nonetheless, we got enough of a taste of kind of what he has, right, and his ability at the next level. And Clayton Tune, a very intriguing prospect for the next level.
Arm strength, I think it's solid NFL. I'm not going to go overboard, but it's solid. In other words, he's not going to go to camp and go, I wish he had a little more pop on the ball.
He's a better thrower than Max Duggan.
Yes, he is.
Right.
Just cleaner, easier for him, everything.
Yeah.
To mobility, very good. So that's a bit size. So experience.
Well, as you say, size is a skill. Size is important at the position.
So I think as we say all this, and if you've already seen, and we've talked about, this is a guy that should be drafted into the league and get a chance to make a football team.
For sure. I would think that he is probably, like on that lower tier where he's probably, fourth, fifth, sixth rounder kind of guy, but I'd be surprised if he went undrafted in this situation just by his skill set and what he has and his experience. And also too, I think he's a guy that potentially could be a career backup. He's for sure a practice squad kind of guy to me, right? Like absolutely.
We're not even getting into all that.
I know.
But every team, they get 16 guys in the practice squad now. Can we have at least one, maybe two quarterbacks on the practice squad
sure.
as we see them get hurt every single week now in the NFL?
Yeah.
Our buddy Pat Kerwin, who I listen to all the time, and helps us at CBS, he's adamant about this. It's crazy to go into games with two quarterbacks now. Your starter gets hurt, and you got sort of go, oh my God, now we really got to be careful. So they need to put three quarterbacks out there for every game, and it wouldn't bother me if you kept four somehow on the roster, which I think you can do. So
I think it's getting a little bit more back to that again. It was a little bit more common early 2000s, and all of a sudden people got away with it for too long with having one or two. And now everyone's starting to realize again how important it is to have depth at that position, to have people that are prepared and ready to go. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out too, with how teams break up their teams a little bit more as far as the QB position goes.
Yep.
The next QB that we're going to talk about is Jake Haener from Fresno State.
Wow.
Redshirt senior. Again, another football player, 6 foot, 207 pounds, 9 3/8 hand, and 20 games played, 732 pass attempts, right, at Fresno State. He transferred from Washington,
right,
so he actually had to sit out a whole year because unfortunately for him, there was still that transfer policy where you had to sit out for an entire year. Now you could transfer as many times as you want and, play right away. So unfortunately, he wasted a whole year of his career just kind of sitting and waiting. But very solid career at Fresno State, a lot of good stuff. One of the stats that I really liked about him was his 214 pass attempts in college without an interception.
Without an interception,
which I thought is always a good sign. No matter what your offense is, it's always a good sign. He's making good decisions, and I'm sure there's a few lucky breaks in there, but still pretty impressive stat line. What is your first thoughts about Jake Haener?
Really just a good football player.
Yeah.
I think he's gutty and tough on the field, probably better physically than everybody's giving him credit for. 20 touchdowns. He had 10 starts at Fresno. Got a little nicked up. 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
A lot of experience throwing the football. Makes a lot of really good plays. And I don't have a great feel for where he'll go. I think if I had to guess, I'd say he'll be a free agent.
Yeah.
Or 7th round, which sometimes 6th and 7th round, we see runs on quarterbacks. So let's check him out and just kind of size him up.
And one thing that I think is important really for everybody, and this is for me in the field that I'm in, right, of coaching young QBs for the next level and the college level and, hopefully the pros, you got to go to a place where you can just get experience and get reps and play.
Got to throw.
And this is where I think, a guy like him, smaller school, Fresno State, obviously we know the Cars and their success at Fresno State, but just like, go play, take the opportunities that you have, don't pass up, opportunities at a smaller school just because, you want to play at a bigger school.
Well, it worked out for the Cars. And, just here he is, number 9. He looks taller than 6 foot.
He does.
And he definitely plays taller than that when you watch the games.
Yeah.
And he's another one. He grips the small end of that football, and he can really get it out of his hand when he needs to quick.
Yeah, that was a quick release right there. Good throw on the run while he was losing ground away from the line of scrimmage, which is always impressive and very prevalent in today's game.
Yeah. Nice little...
A lot of these
flinch.
type of throws, though, just very quick twitch, not trying to throw with power, but just gets the ball out of his hand very quickly, does a good job of rotating through and around it, right? Turns the football over beautifully in the back corner.
Compact motion.
Yeah, compact motion. So this is definitely like, I see a lot of those reps from him, maybe lacks just the overall arm strength and being able to power throw a little bit more like some of the other guys that we've reviewed. But definitely has a good feel for the game, does a good job of throwing to open space a lot and anticipating down the field. This is a beautiful throw right here. Just flicks it with his wrist.
He knows he's going to get hit, so he falls back, throws it off balance, which, Matt, as we watch all these quarterbacks, throwing off balance and making it happen with whatever's going on, like that.
Beautiful rep for it.
Man, I mean, it's just amazing. You know why they're good at this now? Because they get to do it in practice. They get to do it in the games. They have great experience, and now they're applying all that to the field.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that I do as far as coaching QBs is a ton of this stuff is change direction, right? Quick, sudden change of direction, burst, being able to set up and turn and throw as quickly as possible and being as limber as possible. And this is a great example here, drifting to his left and does a great job of turning back and following through unbelievably well.
Well, now, I mean, if you throw 100 passes with your kid growing up, once you throw enough or whatever, you should do at least 50 of them off schedule.
Yeah.
Just turn here, throw,
well,
fall back,
what's weird
whatever.
is that just teaching it, actually, I sometimes do the opposite. I teach the off-schedule funky stuff first because it makes everyone realize, wow, I can do this way easier than I thought.
Yes.
And then when you teach more of like the stand there, turn and rip it, I try to apply those lessons to that going forward. So it's kind of interesting how it's changed a little bit.
It's got to be frustrating for these kids, and just like here, we're talking about Jake Haener here, but great, really, really good college career. Shows it on film and all that, and you just, I don't say I feel bad for him, but how's it going to work out for him in the NFL?
Well, we could say that about anybody, too. We could say that about Bryce Young and him being the #1 pick, right? Because it depends on just how the coaching staffs, the environment, the team around them, how they bring him along at these individual positions. So some guys, I feel like even if they do have the talent, I tell people all the time, like Tom Brady's the man, right? He's the man. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. Right. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But if he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in that exact same draft, it's like, is he still the same Tom Brady? I don't know. There's a possibility that he's not, right?
Yeah, and look, he should have gone higher in the draft than he did, because I saw Tom Brady a lot as a senior at Michigan. But
you know what I'm saying, right?
I definitely do.
Right?
But all the teams look at him and go, well, he's not athletic, his arm.
Yeah, but like Bill Belichick having the cojones to play him, right?
Well, they knew.
With Drew Bledsoe, right, in that situation, right? Then you had the offensive minds of like Charlie Weiss and Josh McDaniels, right? And just Bill O'Brien, like surrounded by super intelligent football people that always got the most out of their players.
They give you a chance to show all your talent off, which they did with Tom Brady, and I think he did an okay job at that.
No doubt.
That was really nice off the thing. Let's see what else he's got here. But I liked him more. I say this about most of them.
See, these are the throws that I really like about him. Right? I mean, this is
right outside left, not open. Time is in your head. You know the clock, and he finally has to get rid of it, and he does it off balance.
Quick feet, low to the ground, right? The John Deere lawnmower type of footwork, right? Come on, John Deere, come on, sponsor us. Let's go. And not sure why, but just do it, all right?
Look at that.
Just good job. Stepping to the left here, right? Off balance. Does a great job of turning his upper body back, creating opposites, and fires through. Beautiful follow through. Very flexible arm. So a lot of those plays that to me are very impressive. Yeah, let's end with a bomb.
Yeah, I forgot this play.
Good step and turn.
Yep, beautiful throw. Again, throws it up, gives it plenty of air time so his receiver can make the adjustment. And you let the defensive backs panic.
For sure. Good throw, though, over the shoulder. Good high throw, letting the receiver adjust.
So real quick, what's just your thought about him? What do you think? I know we've watched him already before this today and studied him. But
yeah, I mean, I like him. I think he's intriguing. I really do. I think he has a lot of upside. I see him as someone that is probably going to be like a practice squad guy maybe for a year or two.
Yeah, definitely will.
And hopefully with just, more maturity as far as physical maturity in the NFL game, seeing how it's played, how it's practiced, applying the way that the offenses kind of go through the process, expecting him to improve each and every preseason that he's in.
It'll be interesting if he can flash enough in training camp or whatever to find a place on the football team, and I think that's what he's got to do. When he goes to training camp, after his off seasons, the combine, everything else, these guys go into camp pretty polished, I guess you would say.
Yeah, definitely.
To give themselves a chance because of all the work they put in.
The one thing that I think is something that hopefully he can continue to work on and get experience at is just the throwing on the run part.
Yeah.
Didn't see a ton of it in the film, and in his career didn't see a ton of just like scrambling for yards, scrambling to create plays, quite as often as some of the others in this class, which I think the others in this class do this at a ridiculous rate. So maybe that makes it look worse for him because the others are so impressive in that field. But the throwing on the run aspect of it and scrambling for tough yards, I think is something that occasionally he's going to have to learn, how to get experience at in practice and in preseason
Couple
games.
things.
Yeah.
He's tough as hell.
Tough as hell,
Plays
for sure.
Tough. Good competitor, can hang in there, all that. Arm strength is
good experience.
It's good enough, great experience, so he's going to give it a chance.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And then the last quarterback that we're going to view today is Jaren Hall from BYU, 6 foot, 205 pounds, 9.5 hand. Spanish Fork, Utah. He went to Maple Mountain High School. And another guy that's, gotten a lot of attempts, 718 pass attempts. He's played in 31 games. 31 games. He's been in college. He's a fourth-year senior. And this past season, 3,100 yards passing, 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 68% completion percentage. And this is a guy that, unlike Haener, has displayed some good running ability and running for tough yards. 86 carries for 348 yards and 3 TDs.
All right, well, let's look at him. Yeah, good mobility. Good mobility. There's no doubt about that. And I like his throwing motion.
Yeah.
And, smart, but the running is good. It's better than good. And the competition, he got away with some good runs. You talked about it earlier. He does this well. The one thing that my knock against him, strength of his arm. And I know everybody, arm strength is overrated. No, but I at least want it to be where you can make all the throws on the field. That's what you want. And I don't know if he quite has that. It's a little below what you would want for a quarterback coming in.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because he's a well-built player, right? And that's where I feel like it's within him to get better as a thrower. I think as he throws, he is maybe a little bit too tightly wound.
Right.
And for you and I who teach QBs how to throw, sometimes when you're trying to hit it over the fence as like a hitter, you can't, right? But as soon as you relax and kind of just move fluidly, the harder you can throw the ball, the harder you can hit the ball, right? Just like with any sport.
Sure.
So this is something that I think that he can kind of look into more as he sees some of these other better throwers in the NFL and learns from them.
Yeah, as you can see, good motion, accurate when he gets the time to throw, and a little space, but there's a lot to like about him. The mobility is a big deal. I thought he was really good running the football, and that could be his ticket to get in there. Experience, controls the football pretty well. I shouldn't say that. He controls the football well. Just right here, just a lot of effort to make this throw too. Big stride.
A little too much of a stride, a little bit too much forward lean. And this is something where, again, like it kind of takes away from his strength and his athleticism just a little bit.
It does. But again, I think when you look at what's he going to do in the draft, he might not get drafted. I think he'll be, 6th and 7th round. A lot of quarterbacks fall into that category just because that's what the NFL does. High draft picks, big lull, and all of a sudden there's always a run late in the draft, 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Yeah.
He could be part of that, but if not, he's going to get invited somewhere to try to make a team, and then it's up to him to show him he's got the talent to hang in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I think he's an interesting prospect that way, because he did display a lot of these a lot of plays to have this ability to run through the open field, right, with speed, with athleticism, with some toughness too, which I think is always important too for some of the younger QBs, right, to kind of etch your own little identity within your team and their offense as they go through it.
And I thought one of the best things he did, I just saw it in my notes, when he's looking down the field, he has learned, and he is very good at throwing it behind the receiver, the back shoulders, to get completions maybe when guys are not open. And he did it quite a bit, and he did it well. I probably watched 4 or 5 complete games of him, and I didn't come away from any of them going, oh my God, he has no chance. I kind of thought everything I've said here was exactly what I saw when I watched full games of his, plus his highlights, of course, too.
And this is a good example, too, of the play action that you saw earlier. Really big stride, right? Kind of got over his front leg too soon, almost to the point where it's like he's hyperextending his front leg and hip a little bit. But here you see he's throwing a fade down the left sideline here, stays back, keeps his posture back over his back leg a little bit more, creates a little bit more leverage for him, right? Just like the example would be like, an archer, back in the day. It's like, all right, front line is 10 yards away, you're good. Front line's 70 yards away, you got to change your angle a little bit.
Sure.
These deep throws here, you kind of see that he has the ability to create that leverage and to throw really well. Just need to kind of have this posture more often. And this is where you see, like, he's got that ability. And I think, with just more time and experience and watching others, like I said earlier, he can really do something.
Well, I think one thing we found out in doing all this and before the draft and all that, there are a lot of good quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah, it's a great class.
We talked about it earlier. It's a good class. In
your eyes, is this class, is it
great?
Is it great? No. Okay.
No.
All right.
No. I think, we have a tendency to over-evaluate quarterbacks.
Yeah, of course.
And, of course, you turn on the TV, we don't have to worry a lot about, because it's constantly talked about, even during the NFL season. But fans know 2 things. It's either the quarterback's fault or the coach. And we go right there every time.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done. So, but that's the makeup of the business. That's why quarterbacks are being paid so well.
Yeah.
And so much rides on them. Let's give them a chance. We've talked about it many times. Put them in a place where they have the opportunity to show their talent. And if we give them that opportunity, then we could have what we call a big-time NFL starter.
Yeah, and maybe, okay, I see your point of saying it's not the greatest class ever and all that. But I think the one aspect that this class differentiates from past classes, you're seeing a more well-rounded athlete at the position more and more from top to bottom. You're seeing guys that are throwing really well, running really well, doing a little bit of everything to a different degree than we've seen in the past, where other guys were like, they're just prototypical pocket passers. Like, that's all they got. Now you got guys that are prototypical pocket passers that do the other things really well, and they can do it just, when the opportunity is given to them.
So what Matt is really saying to all the young kids out there, you better get to work. Okay? Because that's what it is. And you're right. You got to do it all now. And if you said it earlier, we're looking at these numbers and going, 4.6 is slow. Or not, we don't say it's slow, but it's common.
Yeah.
And, hell, we watch the combine with the NFL draft. The quarterback class, hell, they might be as fast as the tight ends and receivers, which we saw some of them really are.
Yeah, which is great for the game and exciting for the game and exciting for the young football players to get their opportunities in the NFL and display that talent. Really good class. If you like this, subscribe to us on Sims Complete on YouTube. And are you familiar with YouTube?
Yes, I watch it every night.
What's your favorite thing to do on YouTube?
Watch comedians.
Yeah, who's a comedian you've watched recently that you really enjoyed?
Orny Adams. Oh my God.
Orny Adams. Okay.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch.
You're a big Jim Gaffigan fan too, right?
Yes, I've watched everything of his. So he's got to come out with some new stuff before I start watching.
Yeah, come on, Jim, you're slacking. Yeah, Jim is hilarious.
I'm watching old clips of Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. The guy made a whole career off of fixing his tie and being, slightly cross-eyed.
Yeah, no, but he is very funny. So,
yeah.
Oh, well.
All right, well, subscribe, and we'll be back with more content here soon.